First of all, sorry my hair is just in a ponytail and looks all messy. I was working out this morning, and then today's has also been housework slash cleaning day, so that's that. But as you can tell by the title of this video, I will be updating you guys on how I'm doing 2 months postpartum, and I will also be answering a lot of your questions that you guys had for me, related to my postpartum period. So the first thing I'll do is give you my update, and to start, I'll start with my weight. In terms of my weight, I've gained a few pounds, and I think that I've gained a total of 4.5 pounds. I'm going to just say 5 pounds. So I was back to my pre-pregnancy weight, which was 117. Now I'm back up 5 pounds. So I'm at around 122, sometimes 123, depending if I'm drinking water when I'm weighing myself. But I think the reason why I've gained weight is a little bit due to the fact that I've been indulging a lot. We've been going out a lot and stuff, so I've been eating, not really holding back. Also, I've been working out, as you guys know, for the past 6 weeks, like seriously working out. And by seriously working out, I mean like hardcore HIIT training with lots of heavy weights and things like that. Not too heavy, okay, but I'm using weights. I use 15-pound weights when I work out, so there's 30 pounds. So that's building a lot of muscle. And as you guys know, muscle weighs more than fat. So I think a lot of the weight I'm gaining is to do with muscle. And when I look at myself in the mirror, I like myself way better with the extra weight, because I do look thinner. So that's why I'm thinking it is muscle, or at least some of it is muscle, because I can see, like, I'm fitting into size smaller jeans and stuff, but I've gained more weight. So I'm pretty sure it's muscle. But yeah, I've gained a few pounds. I don't mind it at all. Like I said, I don't mind the way I look at all. I don't feel like I've gained weight. I just feel like I'm still the same. So, I'm pretty tired. I do feel tired, but I'm getting so much more sleep than I obviously used to in the early days, when I just had my new little guy. So I actually am doing pretty well. I have enough energy to get through my day, to take care of my boys, to get, everything I need to do done. But then come around 9 o'clock, once the boys are in bed, that's when I'm like, whoa, and it hits me, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. So I will usually stay up and either play a game with my husband, watch a couple TV shows with him, and then head to bed around 10:30, 11. So it's usually what time I sleep. And I'm usually up at 7. I wake up before everyone else, or at least I try to most of the time. Sometimes I sleep till 8, but I try to wake up around 7 that I can get my workout in the morning. So speaking of my workout, I'm still doing the BBG Guide 1.0 by Kyla, and I'm on week 6. I started week 6, and I'm going strong. I didn't miss any workouts. I haven't been doing it, I've been sticking to it, and I'm so motivated, which I love. And yeah, it's 6 weeks so far that I've been doing it. So I'm right now 9 weeks postpartum today, but I've only been doing it for 6 weeks. I started 3 weeks postpartum. So yeah, so workout's been going great, and I usually get that done in the morning. Oh, another reason I actually want to add about the weight gain, it might have something to do with breastfeeding, because 2 weeks ago I've completely officially ran out of breast milk. I dried out. So that could have something to do with it, not breastfeeding anymore. I'm not sure, but just that I throw that in there. I am not breastfeeding anymore. 100% he's formula fed. My milk dried out, so I don't use my pumps, nothing anymore. He's just on formula. What else was I going to say? In terms of formula, I actually had a question from one of you guys about how I'm feeling, not breastfeeding anymore, not breastfeeding at all anymore. And I do have mixed feelings about it, so I will be sharing that in the end of this video with my postpartum question and answer. I don't want to get into too much detail now, but like I said, I do have mixed feelings about it. So I will touch on that. And a lot of these things I want to talk about, you guys asked questions, so I'm kind of just going to put it in the question and answer section. One thing I do want to say is that I was worried I would love one of my kids more than the other, and I had a feeling I was going to love John more than I loved Aaron. And when Aaron was first born, I didn't know him, right? You don't know the person till you spend time with them. So to me, he was still like a little stranger. And I remember saying to Patrick, I think I love John more. And not that I didn't care about Aaron at all. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean that because I was more bonded with John. I felt closer to John. But that's not the case anymore. Now that I'm you know, knowing Aaron, and we've got to know each other. I mean, he's 2 months old. I've been living with him and, you know, taking care of him, feeding him, changing him, like loving him. I love them equally, and it's like insane that I could have that much love for two separate people, plus my husband on top of that. But I mean, like, two children, and I'm like, how can I possibly love this much? Like, I'm so consumed by love. They're both such an amazing little boys, and like, my heart, I just love them. I love them so much. Oh my gosh. But that was one of the things I was really worried about, and kind of with that, I was worried that I wouldn't have enough time to spend equally with both boys. I was like, how am I going to have time to spend with John when I'm constantly feeding Aaron and taking care of Aaron? That's not the case anymore. Like, I've completely figured out our schedule, and everything is balanced now. So I do have to say, I do spend a little bit more time with Aaron, obviously, because he can't feed himself and stuff. But I make it up with John by, you know, playing games with him, or taking him for walks, or, you know, to the indoor playground we have down the street and things like that. So I do definitely spend time with both boys, and I just love them. And like I said, a lot of like stress about how I was gonna possibly be able to handle two kids and love them equally and let them know that I love them equally. And it's honestly just worked out. Like, I don't know why I was so worried in the beginning. My whole pregnancy I was worried about that. I really don't know why. Like, it just kind of fell into place, and now I'm just like it's just natural. Like, I just go take care of Aaron, then right away I'm just hanging out with John. And what I do with John a lot more now is, instead of, we used to like sit down and actually play games, we do that, like sometimes we'll play trains or something. But now what I find myself doing is spending more time with John when Aaron's sleeping, and we bake together. So I'll put John on the counter with me, and he'll help me whisk things, he'll help me add ingredients to the bowl, because I love baking, and that's one thing I wanted to make sure I didn't give up once I had a second baby. Even though I'm so busy, I was like, I have to keep baking because I love it, and it also helps me, you know, bake healthy things, and keeps me on track. And sorry, that grunting is just the baby monitor. Aaron's sleeping and making noise. But yeah, so that's what I do. I find myself doing a lot more with John, is, you know, baking in more time to like that with him. But I'm still getting in time with him, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, I'm happy that I found a balance, you know, between the two boys, and it's makes me feel a lot better, you know, about everything. It's really good. So I'm still working. Some of you guys were actually asking if I'm still working. I'm still working, and pretty much I'm working just so I can pay back my OSAP from school, because I graduated last year, so now it's like student loan time. So that's why I need to work a little bit. So that's about it for me postpartum. I'm just checking on this little guy, see what he's doing here. There's not really much to talk about, just because I feel like this time around anyways, at 2 months, I had to snap back into my routine and snap back into everything so much quicker than I had to with John, that by 2 months, I feel like I've had this little guy for like 6-7 months. So that's why I don't feel like there's much to talk about. I did have my last visit with the midwives, and it was definitely bittersweet. Okay, sorry, I had to go put his pacifier back in his mouth. He woke up. Okay, so yeah, I do want to say though that I did have my last appointment with the midwives, and I did get a pap smear done, but overall the appointment was like bittersweet, because my last appointment that I had was with Mylene, who is the midwife that actually was there through my whole delivery. You have 2 midwives who are assigned to you for your delivery, and the one came at the very end because I went so quick. By the time she drove to the hospital, she was literally there to like help catch the baby. Like, she wasn't really there. So the one that was like there with me through it all, Mylene, was who I had my last visit with. And it was like, it was so crazy to think, looking back, that I felt like I was just there in the beginning I was like 5 or 6 weeks in at the orientation night. And all of a sudden now, like, you know, 10, 11 months later, I've gone through my whole pregnancy, I've had my baby, he's 2 months, and I'm like, where did the time go? Like, it just went crazy. And I feel like I can't believe it's been 2 months that I've had him. It's just, I don't know, like, I just can't even think about it. I can't comprehend it. And I had the appointment with her, and it was like, I'm gonna miss you. Like, you've been with me through it all, through all my appointments. You visited me every single day after the hospital for like a 1 week straight, and then even after that, you came every other day. And it was like, it was just so sad, you know, just saying goodbye. But it was also really sweet that, you know, happy that I'm done my pregnancy, obviously, but really sweet that, you know, I get to start, you know, life with another little human, and that it was because of her. You know, it's really nice. It was definitely a bittersweet visit, and I'm gonna miss the midwives. They were all so amazing. But yeah, so that's the one thing that's kind of been like emotional for me, was that last visit, and just seeing Mylene and, you know, seeing the midwives and how they've cared for me my entire pregnancy. But yeah, I'm doing great. They checked, excuse me, they checked to make sure my breast milk dried up, and they everything. They did everything, and everything's great. I updated you guys on how Aaron was doing, and they weighed him and all that, so that was great. But yeah, like I said, there's not really much to talk about this postpartum update because I'm feeling great. There's absolutely no depression or blues or anything. That's way long gone. I formed a really good routine for myself, you know, fitting working out in and caring for my boys, but I've also worked a good routine for them and their schedules and their naps. And I've synced them 100% together. They go to sleep at the same time for their nap and at nighttime, and they wake up in the morning at the same time. So I'm really proud of myself with that. That was definitely one of the things I was worried about, was how I was going to get on, how hard it was going to be to sync them on their, you know, same schedule. But it actually wasn't hard at all, and they're doing really well. So yeah, they're doing good, and I have really pretty decent structured day, which is important to me, to be able to have structure in my day, and I do have that, you know, even though I have another little guy. And for me now that he's here, I can't believe how much I love him, and it's like I'm so excited to just see him grow. Like, he's already like chunking out so big, and he's super like large for his age, so he seems like he's older. And you know, he's starting to, like, he holds his head up, he starts to recognize me when I come in the room, and he smiles, laughs, you know, gets excited, and starts, you know, like shaking his head and his hands, and like just seeing him grow every day, and like he does something new every day, and he's like adding more baby words to his vocabulary and all that. It's really sweet. And I'm just so happy and so like overwhelmed with love, you know, for this little guy. So I feel really good. I'm really happy, in a really good place. And I'm just really excited to see where this journey goes. I will do a 3-month postpartum update. I think, I don't know if I'll do anything after that, but I definitely will update you guys on 3 months how I'm doing. You know, kind of update you guys on my working out and all that as well. So, to answer your questions, and if I did miss anything that you guys were interested in postpartum, just comment below and let me know. But I am going to answer a lot of your questions that you guys have been asking me through social media, and that might actually answer your questions that you might still have about this, about my postpartum update. I left a couple things out just because you guys asked the question, so I figured I'd leave it for the end of the video. But that is it. So moving on, question number 1 that I had, and it was like the most popular question that I got pretty often, was, do you miss being pregnant? So this question, it kind of makes me laugh, because I talk to a lot of women and they're like, I miss being pregnant. I loved being pregnant. Pregnant was the most amazing experience. And honestly, it wasn't for me. If you guys followed me on my journey for my first, for my second, you guys know pregnancy was terrible both times around. Serious vomiting throughout my entire pregnancy, serious like exhaustion, dizziness, headaches, like whatever, any problems you can get during pregnancy, like in terms of like, you know, hormones, I got it. So for me, pregnancy was not that exciting. Also, this time around, I was pregnant through the winter, which to me was brutal. I honestly hated it. I was always cold and just uncomfortable, and so for me, I don't miss being pregnant. I am so happy to have this baby out. I am so happy to have my body back to myself. You know, to not have a person kicking me constantly at night. I'm happy to be sleeping great. Everything is just, yeah. And I know it might seem like kind of cruel to some of you, being like, how do you not like being pregnant? But honestly, my experience was so bad that I'm just happy it's over. And another thing actually that I don't like, a lot of women would be like, I feel so much better and more confident in my body when I was pregnant, and I felt like I looked better in clothes and things like that. You know, you could show off the bump. I didn't feel like that. I honestly didn't like how I looked in anything. So I think that also made it, you know, played a big part in why I don't miss being pregnant. But yeah, no, I definitely don't miss it. Question number 2 was, are you happy you had baby number 2 when you did? This question is, I'm excited to answer it because I kind of have like mixed feelings. So I'm definitely happy I had Aaron when I did, because he's a good age. Like, John will be 2 when he turns, John will be 3 when he's 2. They're 2 years apart. So when Aaron turns 1, John will be 3. And I think that once Aaron's 1 year old, that's when at least John was walking at 10 months. So Aaron should be walking. He should be able to play pretty well and all that. And that's when I feel like they're going to be friends. So I think that it was important to have, you know, them pretty close in age. Like, they're not quite 2 years apart. They are 20 months apart. Yeah, they're 20 months apart. So they're not even 2 years apart. And I think that I like that they're going to be that close in age, because when they grow up, they're going to be like best friends. And they can keep each other occupied for me, you know, like even when they're 4 and 6, or, you know, 7 and 5 or whatever, they can, you know, hang out and they're friends and they can keep each other busy for me. And to me, that was important. I grew up in a family where my siblings were my best friends and we were all so close in age. And I think that I really wanted that for my boys. So in that sense, I'm happy I had him when I did. The other part of me is kind of like, oh, I wish I waited like 6 more months, because life would be so much easier. You know, John would be potty trained, and just certain little things. You know, John would be potty trained, he'd understand a little bit more. You know, he'd be into his toddler bed already, and the crib would be freed up, and just like little things like that. But they're so small that it's kind of just like, whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I am happy I had him when he did, and we knew we wanted for sure no more than 2 years apart. But there is still a little part of it that's kind of like, maybe we should have gone a little longer, but it's such a small part that I don't even hear it half the time. So I am definitely happy we had him when he did, and now I can't imagine life without him. I'm like, he's only been around for 9 weeks, but I'm like, if he wasn't here, what would we do? Like, what would we do? I don't know. Question 3. Are you happy with how your body is after baby number 2? This question I was asked a lot, not in those exact words, but just, you know, different ways, but you guys all asked this question a lot for me. And the answer is yes. So obviously, I don't think my body will ever be, no, that's not true. I was gonna say I don't think my body will ever be the way it was before I had babies, but that is not true, because I see so many women who work out and stick to fitness and just stick to clean eating and a healthy lifestyle, and they look way better, you know, before, like after baby than they did pre-baby. So that's not true at all. But I mean, I did love the way I looked before I had kids. Obviously, I was a lot thinner, my tummy was flat, you know, all that stuff. But that's not important to me. But I do love how my body is now after baby number 2. So after baby number 1, after John, I didn't really work out much. I did work out, and I was definitely active. Like, I did biking and things like that, but I did sports, but I wasn't like every day or every other day I'm sticking to like a fitness routine. I didn't do that. And I did put on more weight. Like, I lost all the baby weight and then like an extra 10 pounds or something after I had John. But I put it back on slowly because I pigged out on anything and everything, and I didn't do clean eating. I ate a ton of processed food and all that. So I definitely hated the way my tummy looked, especially after John, after my first. And I didn't like, you know, I noticed that I was bigger, and not by much, I have a couple pounds, but on my height you do notice a few pounds. So I noticed that like my jeans weren't fitting as well, dresses didn't look as good on me, all that kind of stuff, and it really like bugged me. Then after this time around, after I had Aaron, baby number 2, my body's completely different, and I owe it all to, first of all, eating clean through my whole pregnancy and before, and well, for the most part, and then fitness. I worked out through my entire pregnancy up until the night before I gave birth. Technically it's the same night because I went into labor that night, and I was working out that night. So I honestly, like, after I gave birth, I not only bounced back, like my tummy's obviously not completely flat, and it never will be after you give birth unless you work out and things like that, or you're just super lucky. I don't know, I've never heard of that though. But it's not sticking out where it looks like I'm pregnant. It's just a little bit of a pooch, and that I could fix up by working out, which is what I'm trying to do, and eating clean. But I have so much more muscle and more tone to my body than I did way before, just because of working out. So I think that obviously plays a huge role in why I do feel good about my body after baby number 2. But the biggest thing is, the reason why I think I feel better now and look better now this time than first baby is because I'm running after John. Like, people don't understand it if it's your first. They're like, well, what do you mean running after? You can't constantly running after him. But I am really running after him a lot, and I'm picking him up every 5 seconds, putting him down, you know, putting him in his high chair, putting him on the counter, like, you know, just things like that. And you really do burn a lot of calories and energy, you know, taking care of 2 children versus 1. So with John, when I just had him, I was sitting on the couch a lot with him and stuff. But now there's no, when do I sit on the couch? There's no sitting on the couch. You're taking care of 2 kids and cooking and cleaning. And so that's definitely helping me keep the weight off too. But yeah, so I definitely am so happy with how my body's looking. And I mean, it's not there yet. And there are days where I'm like, I hate how I look, but I'm getting there, and I'm really happy with the process and journey. And you know, I'm excited to see where I get to. And I'm gonna keep working out, keep eating healthy, and I know your body can do amazing things when you take care of it, so I'm really excited to see how much better it gets. Question 4 was, are you experiencing postpartum hair loss? This question I had from a couple of you as well. I really am not experiencing any hair loss whatsoever. With John, I did have quite a bit of hair loss, but more so during my pregnancy. But I did have a little bit postpartum with John, but this time around, I haven't even lost one strand. Like, honestly, guys, I go in the shower and I'm like running my hands through my hair and all that, and there's not even one strand of hair that I'm losing, which is such a difference for me because I used to lose clumps before I was pregnant and during my pregnancy. So this is nice that there's no postpartum hair loss. And I actually have a lot of hair growing. Like, I have to wear this headband when I have like a ponytail most of the time because you can see tons of baby hair just like sticking out. So yeah, I don't have any hair loss and I'm really happy with that. Question 3, will you go with midwives for baby number 3? So I've talked about this in my previous updates and even in this earlier in the beginning of this video. Definitely, they're incredible, they're amazing, blah 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 blah. I can go on forever with them, but I do love them. They were so caring. They gave you so much information on every decision you had to make. They supported me through everything. But my favorite thing that I could have ever had and ever asked for, and that they did, was that they visited you for 1 week straight, every day or every other day after you give birth, and after that every couple days. So for 2 weeks straight, pretty much, they were at my house at least every other day. And they were always just a phone call away if I had any questions about anything, if I was depressed, if breastfeeding wasn't going well, like no matter what it was, I would just call them and I would talk to them for as long as I wanted. And that support is so important because I didn't have it the first time around. And let me just tell you, it honestly makes a difference. They were constantly checking on me and making sure, like, people are always like, oh, how's the baby? How is baby sleeping well? Is baby doing this? But they're like, are you sleeping? Are you eating? Are you depressed? Like, they were checking on me and I needed that. So they're incredible. Like, I can't say it enough, and I love them. I really do, and I'm definitely going with them for baby number 3. But baby number 3 is not coming anytime soon. I'm not even thinking about baby number 3. I'm happy with 2, and I'm like, let's just keep that for a while. But yeah. Next question, do you find you have enough time to get everything done during the day? I really do, and I owe it all to, like I said, a structure and a schedule. Right when Aaron was born, I started like planning out how I wanted my day to be. And I had a good structure with John, and I was like, Aaron just has to adapt to that schedule, and simple as that. And I got him on it, and he sleeps naps the same time and all that, and I get a lot of stuff done during the day. As you guys can see, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm doing tons of baking all the time. I'm still filming YouTube videos when I have a minute. Cleaning I'm never behind on cleaning. It's just, my house is pretty decent most of the time, and I just find time for everything, and making dinner, eating healthy, meal prepping. That's one thing I have to say that I'm doing this time around, because obviously I'm a little bit more busy with 2 kids, is meal prepping. So Sundays are my meal prep days, and that gives me a solid 3-4 days of food pre-made in the fridge, so I don't have to think about making food. So it does give me a head start, to my day, which is really good. And I do find myself making a lot of my breakfasts at night, like overnight oats and things like that, so that in the morning I can wake up and just not have to think about breakfast when the boys want to eat and need to be changed and fed and whatever. So yeah, it just takes more planning, but I definitely find I get everything done, and by nighttime I can sit on the couch, put my feet up, and have nothing to clean or do, and I can just watch TV. And the last one that I'll be answering is, how do you feel about not being able to breastfeed? I left this for last because it's the longest one. I have mixed emotions. This is what I want to talk about in my update, and I just saved it for this part of the video. I feel better this time around than I did last time, for sure, because I kind of, in the back of my mind, I knew it was a possibility that breastfeeding wouldn't work out, which it didn't. I feel like a part of me, again, I know I shouldn't be feeling like this, and I told myself I wouldn't, but I feel like I failed. That I'm not providing for my baby, which is a mother's job, I feel like I'm not providing for myself the way I'm supposed to. And I know that breast milk is so much better than formula. Not that formula is terrible, which that people make you seem like it is. Formula feeds your baby, and if it's your option, then you have to go with it, if it's your only option. But I know breast milk is obviously so much better. I know the benefits, not only baby, but to me. So that's kind of what's like been tugging at me, is like I feel guilty. But then there's a part of me that's like, I know that I did everything I could to feed him and to make it work, and God knows, like, you guys should see how many visits I went to with lactation consultants, to the chiropractor, to the midwives, to doctors, to pediatricians, to figure out the problem with breastfeeding, and it didn't work out in the end. It just didn't, no matter what I tried. And pumping even didn't, because this time, like, I was like ready to do exclusively pumping again for a year if I had to. Like, I was ready to do it, but I was pumping and pumping. I was getting less and less at every pumping session. I was like, what is going on? And eventually my milk just turned to water, and it was like, well, there's no more milk. And it's just because he was nursing so bad, and my supply dropped, and it's just a bunch of things. But I did give him 2 weeks straight of strictly breast milk, and I feel good about that. He had a good start to his life. And yes, I do wish I could breastfeed. Yes, it would be a lot easier at times, but I'm okay with it. And you know what? I do have to say I have more freedom bottle feeding. I really do. I if he's like sitting down, you know, if I'm sitting on the couch and he's screaming, I can go grab a bottle and feed him with one hand while I'm doing something else with John or doing something on my computer or whatever. And if I'm out of the house, I can just leave him with my parents with some formula and water, and he could just handle himself for several hours while I go out, or just things like that. You know, if you're driving in the car and he's screaming and you're on a road trip, like we drive to Pat's parents' house, which is far away, several hours away, I can just reach in the back of the bottle and feed him. And so things like that makes it easier, and that kind of is like helping me to accept that he's formula fed, because at times I'm like, you know what, this is so annoying, I wish I could have breastfed, but then I'm like, wait, you know what, formula feeding isn't so bad, you know, I do have some freedom. So there's that. And it's nice at night because my husband feeds him as well. So, and actually one more thing I want to add about breastfeeding is that one thing that's a good thing about not breastfeeding anymore is that I get to wear whatever dresses, whatever shirts, and whatever bras I want. They don't have to be nursing, because let me just say, at least for nursing bras, they're pretty expensive, and really, to me, the ones I've seen are not attractive at all. They're pretty ugly, and it's often bulky. Like they come up higher up, so you can see it through a lot of different tops and stuff. And I also don't like that you like having to like in the beginning like pick an outfit that you can nurse in, because you don't have many options. So there's that. That's a plus side. It's a, you know, it's a pro to not being able to breastfeed, and it's something I can like that can help me with my, you know, with my problem, I guess, of not being able to breastfeed. So that's all I have to say. That's all the questions I have to answer right now. If I missed something, or you guys want to know something else, please comment below. Feel free. I love, you know, reading your comments. I love responding to your comments. And thank you guys all for the kind comments. You guys are so nice. And it really does put a smile on my face when I get, you know, a sweet comment from you guys. So thank you for that. Don't forget, if you like this video, to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe down below. And yeah, I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!